Hey, Erin, it's Corey from Fuel Your Photos, and I just wanted to do a quick review of your site in regards to SEO, mostly because I saw something interesting happening on your site, and you've done a pretty good job of SEO in general. Now, there's some things that I think should change as far as the way that many of your pages and posts are targeting the same keywords, and I feel like consolidating that and cleaning it up could probably help Google to understand the topics a little bit better. But for the most part, you've at least been intentional about the way that you're using words throughout your site to let people know where you are and what you do. And that's an excellent first step, or not even just the first step, but first multiple steps. So what I want to look at is, why is your homepage not ranking for the main term that you're targeting, but it is ranking for some of the secondary terms that you're targeting? Now, this is something interesting that happens sometimes, especially I see this a lot in the photography space when there's multiple locations or multiple specialties. And so let's just kind of look at what I'm talking about here. So if I look at your homepage title, it's Newborn Photographer in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, and then I see here you've got Akron, Canton, Cleveland, and you've got Newborn and Family Photographer in Akron, Cleveland, Ohio. You got Akron and Ohio here, Cleveland, Akron, Canton. But as far as the homepage goes, and even like you have a link down here that kind of goes back to the homepage. As far as the homepage goes, with your homepage title, you are targeting Cleveland Newborn Photographer in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, you see it here in your meta description as well. Now, if we search for Cleveland, I just copied that from your site. Cleveland, let's just do Cleveland Newborn Photography, or let's do photographer. I think that's how you're phrasing it most times. And if we look here, your site is coming up, but look which page is showing up. It's the /newborn page. All right, well, that's interesting. Let's go ahead and look at something else. Let's look at Akron Newborn. All right, so we're going to look through here and look at this. Here you are again, but in this case, you have inline site links, and there's the home page. All right, and the same thing is true for several other terms that I looked at. Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I can't remember. Yeah, here, homepage showing up for Canton, for Akron. And so I have a suggestion for you, something to think about. First of all, kind of go more broad and more general. Let me kind of give you the overall idea. So overall, you need to figure out which pages on your site are targeting which terms and make sure that you are extremely clear about that. Now, you've already started working on this. You've had this idea where, oh, I'm going to make another page for Akron Newborn Photographer. It's going to be similar to my homepage, but in this case, I'm going to be specific to Akron Maternity, Akron Newborn, Akron Family, and so, like, in theory, this is a good idea. Like, you're going down the right path with creating a separate piece of content to target a separate area. However, there's a couple of things that I think are missing the mark. So first of all, whenever I go to this page, I'm still seeing Canton, Cleveland, and let me just see how it goes down here. Yeah, Akron, Cleveland, Akron. Okay, so I mean, like, Akron might be helped by having the word Cleveland or Canton on this page because those are related terms, but still it's not necessarily specifically relevant to Akron. Okay, so right now, what are you doing? What are you saying here that tells people that you are a better choice for Akron? Like, what is it about you that makes you specifically suited for serving Akron? Why is this page different than your homepage? Right now, it's not. Really, it's kind of just a duplicate of your homepage with words changed around. What you should do, most likely, is talk about the fact that, you know, your studio in Uniontown is much closer, is very convenient to Akron. Maybe you live closer to Akron. Maybe there's something specific about Akron, places you've worked. I mean, it looks like most of your work is studio. Other entities, businesses, people that you've connected with around Akron. You can have blog posts that are Akron specific and have those listed here on this page. Anything you can do to increase the relevance for Akron, to show that you're actually close to Akron or in Akron, should go on this page. Whenever you link to maternity and baby and family and newborn, and you're using different anchor text, that's actually not a good thing. Like, you don't want to link to these pages sending mixed signals with the anchor text. So what you're telling Google here is that this /newborn page is about Akron newborn photography. Whereas on the home page, you told Google that this page was about Cleveland newborn photography. And so you're just mixing the signals to a crawler, to a search engine, about what is on that page. All right, so this is what I mean, where you've got to get really clear on your site about what is the content of the page and what is it about. And whenever I link to it, or whenever I mention those words, I'm always referencing the information that's on that page. And I think if you do that, you have a better chance of the right content showing up in front of the right people. And here's the reason this can be important, okay? Think about the fact, like right now, you're ranking in multiple cities. You're on the first page, in the first few results even, for all of those things that I typed in. But the one that's a really good result is whenever I see Cleveland newborn photographer after I typed in Cleveland newborn photographer. This is probably going to get you the most clicks out of any of these results I've looked at. Now, I haven't looked at your search console, so I don't know. But it's an exact match for the thing that I'm looking for, and it's close to the top of the results. Okay, so that's a winning combination right there. You could potentially improve this meta description just a little bit and see if you could grab people's attention, but still, this is a winning combination. However, if I search Akron, I did that, it still says that, Akron newborn photographer, for example, and I scroll down here and I see Erin Davison, newborn photographer in Cleveland. Well, if I was looking for Akron, even though this search term doesn't get that much search, like it's not, I looked at it and it was less than 10 searches per month. But anyway, if I did search for this, well, now the only thing that makes this listing relevant is that you did mention Akron here in your meta description, but that's not really enough to make me feel like this is the one I want to click, especially whenever I see, Akron maternity baby, like this one really optimized for Akron, or this one, Akron newborn photography, even though that looks like it's just a blog post. So that's the kind of thing. Here we go, Akron, Ohio, portrait photographer. Like these people who are targeting Akron specifically, that those results are going to be better than one that says newborn photographer in Cleveland, right? So the idea is, if you can get a page for Akron to show up with Akron in the title, then you're more likely to get the click here. And here's the other piece of this. All right, so what else you could potentially do here? Since your newborn page /newborn is ranking for Cleveland newborn photographer, you could potentially go ahead and change your homepage title to something like Northern Ohio newborn family photographer, something like that. I'm just making something up off the top of my head. You play with the way that you might say that and play with the length. Let's see how you say it on here. Northeast Ohio. So Northeast Ohio newborn and family photographer, Erin Davison photography, something like that. Because now if I'm searching for Canton or Akron or Cleveland, any of the three, and I come across your homepage instead of one of the more specific pages, at least it's still relevant. It's not something that I didn't type. I believe that someone in Akron would probably say, okay, Cleveland, that's not too far. That's probably what I'm looking for. That's probably going to be some of the people. But I also think that people don't put that much thought into it, and they do a search, and their eyes glaze over, and they look for what they searched for. And so if you're not able to get a page ranking for Akron or Canton, potentially having Northeast Ohio would be better than having Cleveland. It's something to experiment with, okay? I'm not saying this is definitely the answer for you. But what I would do is I would go into Search Console and I would look and see what keywords, what queries is your home page showing up for most often. And can you improve the click-through rate for those queries with your home page? Because like I said, you're already ranking for your top term with an internal page. That's actually a really great thing. Like, being able to do this is awesome because of all the things that we already said. Like, you're able to target multiple locations. You've got something that's really specific. You can use the title. And by the way, this title is only Cleveland Newborn Photographer. Google is adding your name onto the end of it, and that's fine. You can leave it that way, or you can add your name or even add some sort of modifier. When I say modifier, I just mean like get creative with Cleveland Newborn Photographer and then put in like parentheses or brackets. I don't know. It depends on what would make sense for you. You could say, voted best in 2019. That kind of thing gets a lot of clicks. Or if it's like the only blah, blah, blah photographer in blah, blah, blah. Like, one of the things I would do if I were optimizing and experimenting with my wedding photography site right now, which I'm not doing wedding photography anymore, but if I were, instead of doing this typical Columbia wedding photographer or, Blaze Photography, Columbia wedding photography, wedding photographer in Columbia SC, whatever, I would try something like the only wedding photographer in Columbia to offer 24-hour turnaround. Like something like that, where I had some differentiator that was very appealing and enticing to click and still use the keyword. If you can come up with something like that, it could be worth experimenting with. Now, be careful because this page is already ranking. But just a thought. Okay, outside of that, the only other big thing that I thought was worth mentioning is just the general duplication of topics across your site. Okay, so if we look through some of your things like this, Akron Newborn Photographer. Well, we don't want another page anywhere on your site that targets Akron Newborn Photographer because you've got this one, right? And the same is for any of your topics. Cleveland Newborn Photography, any keyword that's related to the same topic that these main pages are trying to rank for, you don't want to target with a blog post. And what you do instead is, oh, look, you've got that title running together. Let me see if that's actually happening on this post. Okay, it's not. It was just, it's been indexed that way, but it has been fixed. Okay. So in this case, you would go for something more specific and leave out Akron Newborn Photographer. And then if you want to say, I'm Erin, an Akron Newborn Photographer, you use this anchor text to link back to this page. Because then you're telling the crawlers, hey, this over here is the most relevant page on my site for this term, Akron Newborn Photography. And then on this page, you just go with the benefits for a studio session as the main title. Like, you're going to say, where'd you put it? Benefits of a studio session. And so I would change this to be a little more clickbaity, like the top 2 reasons that studio sessions are better for newborns every single time. Like, that kind of thing is going to get more clicks, and you can target some terms like which is better, studio or outdoor session for newborns. Like, someone's not typing it exactly like that, but that's the thing that you're targeting, that kind of search. And you can look in Search Console and see how people are typing that kind of thing. All right, so I hope this was helpful overall. By the way, I would make this logo link to your homepage. I noticed that earlier when I was trying to get back to the home. Let's see what happens. Just want to see something here. Okay. Yeah, I would make this logo link back to home. Yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. Like I said, you've done a lot of things right. There's a lot of good stuff going on here, and just a little bit of organization and thoughtful direction of where you're pointing your links, how you're phrasing things, and how you're being specific and containing that piece of your site in one area, not letting it kind of bleed out to all of the other pages. I think that could help you to rank better in all of the markets with the right page. And so that's the goal here. Other than that, I mean, it's like one of those things where I've given you all this like theory, not a lot of very specific action items. I mean, I guess I gave you some with potentially testing the homepage with a different title, changing that Akron page to include more relevant information to Akron specifically, not just be a duplicate of your homepage. Take out Akron Newborn Photographer out of some of these blog posts and point them over to that Akron page with anchor text. Those are some really specific things that you can do. It'll take some time, but I would love to hear back from you after you've tried some of those things and see if it does end up making a difference for you.